Today I'm back in the garage for an update on the 63 because it's been a really long time since I've made a video and I've been slacking off. So Happy New Year and stick around to see the progress.
We're at the movies, huh?
Yep, we're at the movies. Alright, so a lot's probably changed on this since you've last seen it. I scraped the inside of the carpet, the rest of the foam out, and I laid in Eastwood's X-Mat, and that took out a lot of the drone in the car, and that'll reduce the temperatures inside the car. I think they said by like 30 degrees, and I have some more mat coming for that. I installed the heater controls, and then I got the radio in here working. I had it plugged into another source. So for once, this isn't actually my Bose speaker. I got the original Delco radio hooked up with the speaker up top. The antenna is at full extent, which is above my fingertips. I have it hooked up to my 12-volt power supply. But it sounds pretty good. They said it was rebuilt at one point, so it seems like it was. That's pretty cool. That's one less thing to restore. Gotta listen to the oldies in an oldie, right? And then I had to take it back out so I could put the X-Mat behind it. And then in here, this is where the fun stuff really happened. So the lower rad hose came in, so I was able to put the whole front of the engine together, upper lower radiator hoses. I got a new fan clutch, new belt, got all that hooked up. Additionally, the alternator is on, the belt is roughly tensioned. I'll have to go back and double check that. The expansion tank's in, but I had to take it back out to put the battery in. I got an Optima red top, so that way we don't have to mess with the battery going bad or charging it over the, putting a tender on it over the winter or having it die when you go and fire it up again. So have that, and I got a sacrificial anode radiator cap to protect that guy there. Routed the hoses, and my heater hoses are actually coming this week, so I can finally get that installed, button up, fill this thing up with water or with antifreeze. I rebuilt the starter, and that dude was pretty shot. So I cleaned him up, needed a whole new armature, needed new brushes, so put in a new solenoid, hooked up the battery cables. So that side was all wrapped up. I finally finished, I don't know if you can see way back in there, the orange wire, put the blower motor in, which is also a good thing to do while the expansion tank's out. Tidied all that up. So there's really no wires that aren't connected to anything in the engine side. So once those the heater hoses are in, this thing's ready to go, except for I need to hook up the oil pressure line. But I have my speedo cable and my tack cable running inside the car, so that way when the gauge cluster's done, which my dad started stripping paint on that, I'm still waiting to get the lenses in and the speedo and tack faces. They're getting re-silk screened in an 80-pound oil pressure gauge because this thing has a 302 oil pump from like a Z28 Camaro. So this thing is going to be making crazy oil pressure, so I need a bigger oil pressure gauge. And I started body working some of these panels, some of the interior pieces, and those over there, because I ordered a windshield just today. So ordered a date-coded windshield from Auto City Classics, which is actually not that expensive. It was like, I think it was like $370 to have it shipped to my door, and it's guaranteed within 24 hours after delivery. So if you open it up and it's cracked, they'll send you a new one. So I gotta make sure that's okay. I have all the clips, the back windows. I just ordered the clips today, and I have the rubber there. So I'll get those cleaned up. We'll get these clips on, and then we'll fit the trim, make sure the clips line up, and then we can rope the back glass in. I just started today cleaning up the back windows. So here's what one looked like before. I don't know if you see how dirty that is, and all the old adhesive that's on the side there. So I got all that cleaned off with some Goo Gone and a rag. There's still a little bit of, I'm not sure if that's just like a seam from where trim sat on it or where the rubber sat on it, but there's a couple little marks. So I think I want to put the rubber on it. I need to put the rubber on it anyways to install the glass. But I think I want to put that on to see if that covers it up. So I think I'll do that next, because he's cleaned up good. There's a couple like small, like little scratches here and there, but I want to get the next level of heat protection and carpet in here. That way my head can poke out of here. It's a lot easier on the neck, you know. So I'll do that. My dad just dropped off the bumpers today to get re-chromed, which are original from his car. So there's a lot happening at once. Oh, and I also sent the clock out to get restored because the contacts were bad in it. The mechanical clock mechanism worked good. It was just stuck, so I freed that up and I got that running good. But the contacts that auto resets it, they would just fuse together. Alright, so I got the clock kind of working. I've got it working by hand. Before, this wouldn't even spin, so I just used a little WD-40 on the gears and used the manual lever to rotate everything around and free it up. And then I just kept spinning this little wheel over here that keeps time, keeps the second moving, and then once I pretty much sprayed everything with a little bit of WD-40, this thing just took off and it's been running. So let me get another spotlight in the corner. Not sure how well you'll be able to see it on the GoPro, but the mechanics of the clock work really well, so everything's ticking. But the issue with these is the contacts, which the one, if you look on that little black piece, you can see, if you watch carefully, it's moving towards this other contact on the left, which is stationary. So that contact on the left has like a little crater dug into it. So I think if you put power to this thing, it's not going to do a whole lot, because all this is this mechanical clock with a relay in here. So whenever these two contacts touch, this jumps back over like I manually did, and it continues running. I think that happens like every 2 minutes or something. So it looks like that contact might be bad. So I have to figure out what to do about that. A guy made one on another video. I watched him make the same repair. So it looks like this one needs that also. So I'll do a little research into that, and we'll see if we can figure it out. But it's pretty cool. Clock's still ticking. So it might be a bad coil, so I sent that out to, I'll put the guy's name there. I think it's a clock company. I'll put that in the description. It's not going to be that expensive, and I got it for like the 24-hour turnaround, so this thing will be back super quick. So the dash will pretty much be put together next week. Install the grill and the grill surround this week, so I had to button up a couple things underneath there, but the grill needed tweaked and stuff, needed to fit. But I think it looks really good, and I kind of want to run it without any front bumpers for the old school, like 70s look. And I'm hoping, I said at the end of the last video, I have big news coming. So my big news is this thing, I wanted to get this thing running before I start my job, which I just learned is going to be Monday. So I wanted to get it, that was my goal, to get it running before I started. And it's almost going to be running, and it's going to look like it's pretty close to being done by that point also. Because other than windows in the interior, mechanically it's pretty much done, and we're dropping the brake drums off to get cut so we can get those on. Then get a master cylinder, we can bleed the brakes, and once the gauge cluster's in, the steering column can go in, and on the steering box down there, I bought a rag joint. They don't make the correct one anymore, so I found an NOS one. So this thing will be chugging along pretty quick here, and I have dash pads downstairs, so once the windshield's in, once carpet's in, they can put those in. So it'll be cruising along here. So we're getting close. I don't know if I'm going to make the goal of starting the car before I start work, but maybe be able to start it before I get paid. So that'll be nice to be able to get paid to pay for these few big things that are coming up. But we'll have a big video on that, and I have a bunch of videos to catch up on. So sorry for the delay. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody had a good holiday, and I certainly did. So I'll catch you guys later.